What's going on, guys? It's Landon from Shoewear, and today we are taking a closer look at Steph Curry's newest shoe, the Curry Flow 8 Feel Good Flow.
Hey, no, 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 hey, no, no, hey, no, no, hey, hey, no, hey, no, no, hey, no, no, hey, no, no, hey, hey,
So before we dive into the shoe itself, let's go ahead and hit on the box and the price for these shoes first. So the box, these do come in what almost looks like a matte white box. It's kind of what it looks and feels like, but it's pretty clean. And as you can see, Curry's new logo shows up on the front, on the top of the box, and on the side. And I'll touch on what his logo means a little bit later on because there is more to it than just his initials in there. And the gold on the inside of the box was a super nice touch too. It really does make the shoes pop whenever you open it. But as for pricing, these did actually make a pretty big jump from $140 on the Curry 7 all the way up to $160 on the Curry 8. And that is a $20 increase whenever most of the time you'll just see it jump from like $10 at a time. But you know, this is Steph's first shoe since branching off to release his own independent line from Under Armour. So that could be a little bit of the reason why, but I'll hit on that more in a second as well. And it's still not a bad price. It just hurts my bank account a tad bit more, but still worth it in my opinion. Not like Steph being my favorite player in the league has anything to do with that. All right, but that covers the basics on these. So now let's go ahead and take a closer look at the design for this new model. All right, so first let's go ahead and check out the overall appearance for this shoe. So taking a look at these, I am truthfully a big fan of the look of this shoe. All right, so now let's be honest for a second. Aside from Nike, Jordan, Adidas, you know, those powerhouse basketball brands, it's kind of hard to make shoes that look good, that people want to buy, want to wear, want to play in, you know, all of that, whenever so many people are used to just wearing certain types of shoes. You know, I would even consider myself in that category to a certain extent. Like, I have all of these Kobe's, KD's, Kyrie's, you know, most of Harden's, Jordan's. You can see some of those in the background. Like, why would you want to deviate from what you know, what works, or even just simply what you're used to playing in? And yet, Under Armour's first Embiid shoe that we actually did just review, if you guys want to go and check that out. And then, of course, everything that Under Armour has done with Curry's line, and now what he's kind of doing in this new path, I'm just kind of impressed. And like I said, that could be a little bit of my bias towards Curry, but I genuinely like playing in Curry's shoe line. But, you know, back to the design specifically for this shoe, you get a look at Curry's new player logo, which obviously has his initials S and C mixed into it, but there's more to it than just that. So Curry's logo is also meant to resemble the three-pointer sign that he, along with a lot of basketball players, throw up after they hit a three-pointer. And if you were born last week and you're just now hearing about Stephen Curry's name for the first time, well, allow me to inform you that he is the best shooter to step foot on this earth. And I could bore you to death with stats to back that up, but I don't have to because there isn't even an argument. He's in a category of his own right now. So I'm at least happy to save some of your time with that. But the main point of that little tangent was to say that I think his logo is really cool. And it even has his number 30 woven into it. Like, you can see the 3 and the 0 if you look hard. And, you know, I also like this multicolor piece that runs up the side of the shoe as well. It's going to allow for some pretty sweet colorways down the line as more of them begin to release. And it has more of a purpose than just to look cool on the shoe, but I'll touch on that more in a second. But some more subtle details that made it onto the shoe is the acronym ICDAT that shows up on the back of the heel tab. And that actually stands for I Can Do All Things. And I just thought that was a cool touch because it's a reference from Philippians 4:13, a verse from the Bible. And finishing off this appearance of these shoes, I do like the different designs and patterns running along the outsole and the midsole of the shoe. It's not really important for performance or anything like that, but it looks pretty unique. But rounding up the look of these, you can also see Under Armour's logo, which shows up and remained on the back of the shoe, but only on the heel cup this time. Definitely outnumbered by Curry's logo, which pretty much covers the entire shoe. And, you know, I'm just pumped for Curry, man. Like, he deserves this. He's the only unanimous MVP in league history. And of course, I know a lot of that's up for debate on whether or not he should have been unanimous, or whatever. I don't really want to get into that. But, Curry has dominated the league for nearly a decade now. And I'm just kind of pumped to see what types of changes and improvements that they plan on making to this Curry line going forward. All right, so for the last half of this review, we'll take a closer look at the materials, the comfort, and the traction for the Curry 8 Flow. So the upper is made out of a combination of textile and knit, so that remains pretty similar to most basketball shoes, and that kind of helps make these shoes very breathable, which is pretty important. And back to this multicolor piece that runs up the side that I touched on a little bit earlier, it's actually synthetic, and they could have probably used a better material on there, like leather or something like that, especially like for the price point on these at $160, but it's not a deal breaker for me. And it is pretty similar to how they have the Curry 4 set up, in my opinion. But the main purpose of that stripe is actually going to be to keep your foot inside of the shoe so you won't be slipping out. And as for the traction, indoor, these are second to none, in my opinion, even with the unique pattern on there. But these are not made up of any rubber at all. So while that will make them super light to play in, they're not likely to hold up very well if you play in these for a long time outdoors on like a rougher surface. I mean, I did test them out outside, and the traction and all that felt great. And honestly, it didn't show many signs of wear, but I mean, I guess you can't expect them to fall apart after just one use anyways. I mean, not for $160, I wouldn't hope. But looking at the cushion on these do feature a new UA Flow foam cushion design that feels super bouncy to play in. But I always feel a little more spring whenever dealing with a lighter shoe like these, so I guess that could be part of it as well. And it did remind me of like sliding my foot into like some free runs that Nike has, but then at the same time you get that heel cup that kind of grips your foot in the back to keep you locked in. But as for sizing, these do run true to size, and with that elevated heel cup, it does push your foot forward slightly, but these do grip your foot pretty well. So I mean, I guess you would expect that, because with these being designed for Steph Curry himself, he spends all but maybe 15 seconds of the game running around, making cuts, trying to get open from usually the 3 people that are guarding him. But yeah, 10.5 is what I went with, and these worked out perfect, true to size for me. All right, that pretty much wraps up our unboxing and performance review of the Curry Flow 8 Feel Good Flow. Thank you guys for taking some time to check us out and watch. If you're interested in purchasing these shoes, go ahead and check out the link in our description. And also be sure to click the link in our bio. And from there, you can find all of our shoes that are available for sale on our website. You can also go ahead and head over to our social media to help you stay informed on upcoming sneaker releases and stuff like that. And last, just feel free to comment below, letting us know if you liked it, any improvements, or just any other shoes you want us to check out. But until next review, I'm Landon from Shoewear. Peace.